Hi, you guys. Welcome back to Meaningful Motivations with Tracy Erickson. And of course, if you are new to this channel, welcome. My name is Tracy Erickson, and today's video is going to be all about the Poltergeist Trilogy. I'm going to be telling you guys about the occurrences that have taken place surrounding the cast members of the movie that have led many people to believe that the movie was placed under a curse. I'm going to go over all the weird stuff that's been going on, so stay tuned. Poltergeist was an American horror film trilogy released in the 1980s. The first Poltergeist movie was released in 1982. The second Poltergeist movie was released in 1986. And the final third movie was released in 1988. The plot of Poltergeist follows the family of Steve and Diane Freeling, as well as their three children, Dana, who is 16, Robbie, who is 8, and Carol Ann, who is 5. And the story takes place at Costa Verde, which is this development community that they live in, but also happened to be developed by the same company that Steve Freeling had currently worked for at the time. After living in this new development for a little while, the family began to experience poltergeist activity, and that poltergeist activity began to manifest itself for Carol Ann, the 5-year-old daughter, through the television screen. And this poltergeist continued to grow in strength and power until finally Carol Ann saw something come out of the movie screen. It looked like a hazy mist, like a hand coming out or something like that. And all of a sudden, this mist zoomed into the wall across from the television, causing what the family believed was an earthquake. After that happened, Carol Ann said the famous line, "They're here." Of course, there are a lot of creepy events that happen because this is a poltergeist entity, and they also end up taking Carol Ann, but the family could still hear her through the TV screen. After some time, the father, Steve, finds out through his boss that the community was actually built over a graveyard. And the boss claimed that he had moved the graveyard to a whole nother place. And for the time, Steve accepted that as the truth. That greedy, slimy boss of his was actually lying, and the community that Steve Freeling and his family lived in was built on top of a graveyard where only the tombstones had been moved, to save money, of course. And the bodies of those who were buried at the graveyard remained where they lay. And Diane Freeling finds out later as well, because during a rainstorm in the middle of the night, she slips and falls into the pool that's being dug in their backyard. And that's where she encounters the skeletal bones of multiple corpses right there in her own backyard. The Freeling family begins to work with paranormal investigators to try to figure out what's going on, since their daughter is missing and all of these crazy things are going on at the home. So, it kind of wraps up that way. They figure out what it is. They find out that Carol Ann has this bright light that the poltergeist entity is very attracted to and kind of feeds off of. And so that is why Carol Ann is the one who was kind of targeted during the poltergeist activity. All right, so now that you have like the gist of this plot for the movie, Now let's get into the crazy things that have taken place since the filming of Poltergeist and the Poltergeist Trilogy. Because, you guys, this is a little bit crazy. There are 4 cast members that have died either during or shortly after the film had been released. And there's just also some other crazy occurrences that had taken place. And that's why, with the cult-like following that Poltergeist had as a movie, it made a lot of people start to think that, is this movie somehow cursed? First of all, during an interview, the actress JoBeth Williams, who played Diane Freeling, said in an interview that Stephen Spielberg chose to use real skeletons because at the time, obtaining plastic or rubber skeletons would have cost more than actually obtaining the real bones of deceased human beings. So that is what they used in the filming of Poltergeist. And ew, I just think about Diane swimming around with them and everything. Ugh. The first murder that happened to a cast member was right away after the release of the first Poltergeist movie in 1982, because the movie was released in June, and by November of 1982, Dominique Dune, who played Dana Freeling, the 16-year-old daughter, was actually murdered by her ex-boyfriend in the driveway of her Hollywood home. And in 1984, Will Samson, the Native American actor who plays the shaman in Poltergeist Part 2, does an actual exorcism on the set of Poltergeist. So one day after they were done filming for the day, Will Samson did an exorcism on the set itself. And it is also said that the next day, when all the cast members came into work, they actually felt relieved that that exorcism had taken place. The next thing is that Julian Beck died of stomach cancer at the age of 60. Now, this doesn't seem too strange on its own because he was 60 and he was also already diagnosed with the stomach cancer before filming began. But his death took place after filming was complete, but before the movie was actually released into theaters. So add that to the other things that had taken place, it is a little strange that his death had the timing that it had. And the next thing that happened was that in 1987, Will Samson, remember the Native American actor who played the shaman in Part 2? He actually died of malnutrition and post-operative kidney failure at the young age of only 53. This one breaks my heart the most. Actress Heather O'Rourke, who played Carol Ann Freeling, the youngest daughter, dies at the age of 12 in February of 1988. Her death was a cardiac arrest and septic shock, and it was due to a misdiagnosed intestinal issue that she was experiencing, evidently. But in Carol Ann's case, she had died in February of 1988. It was after filming was complete, but still months before the third Poltergeist movie was released in theaters. Richard Lawson, the actor who played one of the paranormal investigators, barely escaped death in March of 1992. He was actually on U.S. Air Flight 405 that crashed into the Flushing Bay. 27 of the 51 people survived. So it's another creepy coincidence that yet another cast member was involved in such a tragic event. And in 2009, Lou Perryman was the second Poltergeist cast member to be murdered. Lou Perryman had a small part in Poltergeist Part 1, where he was the little construction worker. And in 2009, a recently released ex-convict actually came to Lou Perryman's home and murdered him with an axe. That is such a horrible and tragic way to die. I want to know what you guys think after hearing all of that. So, was it a curse? Let me know in the comments down below. Was it a curse, or was this simply a series of horrible, tragic events? Well, that about wraps it up for this video. So if you liked this video, be sure to click that like button and share this video with all your friends out there. And of course, if you're a viewer but not yet a subscriber, I would just love for you to click subscribe down below. And once you have subscribed, you can then turn on the notifications bell if you would like to be notified each and every time I upload a new video. Thank you guys so much for watching and spending your time with me. I love you, and I'll see you next time. Bye.